Martin from the Philippines. We're here in Real Talk Lifeline. So, welcome to Podcast Meditations. And we are here with the best lessons of the way of the superior man. So, let's move forward. Today, this episode, we're going to be talking about polarity. This is one of my favorite lessons when it comes to understanding the masculine and the feminine. So, before we move forward, and I'll be sharing my screen, remember that both men and women, and I believe whatever gender, in this day and age, LGBTQIA plus, all that, we do have a masculine and a feminine in us. So this lesson, I believe, still holds universal and can be very helpful for you. If not, then I'm open to learn from you as well. And feel free to just let it go if it's not helpful for you. So as I share my screen, I'm going to zoom in, guys. People on video, do not worry. Going on full screen and blowing it up over here. So let me, all right, looks good. Looks good. Let me take this out. Get a little closer here. Okay. So let's begin with this episode. So we're on part 3 of The Way of the Superior Man, working with polarity and energy. So let's flow. This chapter is called Your Attraction to the Feminine is Inevitable. Remember, all of us, we have a masculine and a feminine in us. So what is the line here? What does it say? If you are like most men, you probably hide the amount of sexual attraction you feel toward women every day. This line really hit me because growing up here in the Philippines, Roman Catholic, so, statistically, it's like one of the top religions here. There's obviously Muslims also, there are Buddhists, there are different religious, you know, sects or backgrounds, right? Iglesia ni Cristo, El Shaddai, all these others, right? So, whatever your religion or your beliefs, your programming growing up, this was very relatable for me. So, hiding the amount of sexual attraction I feel toward women. So, I grew up with that shame, that guilt, like whenever you see a hot girl or like some woman, look away, right? To this day, I still have a hard time even just having eye contact with people. So I could totally relate to like the Japanese, like whenever they just look down, bow their heads like that. So we're talking here about the polarity, between the masculine and the feminine. So next line, let's flow. Seeing an especially radiant woman can fill your whole day with delight. So, why did I write this line and why did it hit me as I was reading the book? So, when I was working in my first job, some of my office mates, I worked in a waste management company and I was shoulder to shoulder with minimum wage people. So, like in the sales and marketing department, the drivers, the messengers, like that. And then there was one office mate, this girl who was good looking, so very, very, elegant like that. So the line I heard one of the guys say is nakakagaan, or it's like seeing that girl lightens my day or it makes my day. And I thought it was shallow at first with my religious background, heavy programming, the shame, the guilt, like that. And then later on, in a very humbling moment, I understood. I understood what it meant. Through the hardness and the heaviness of the day, doing the work, you go home to family problems. They have money problems. A lot of them would just drink MP lights, Emperador like brandy or hard drinks, just to forget their problems. So sometimes seeing just a beautiful woman or a person, right? I believe it goes both ways, right? That can actually make your day. And I believe that's true. Next line. Your sexual essence is always attracted to its energetic reciprocal. Masculine men are attracted to feminine women. Feminine men are attracted to masculine women. Balanced men are attracted to balanced women. So I love this. So again, in this day and age where people are getting confused or they're not sure, right? It goes down to our energy, our core, right? Growing up, and this is kind of hard for me to say, the way I grew up, I felt like a woman in a man's body. So a lot of that could be the programming, like the way I grew up in an all boys school. So it was very feminine or nurturing. Like we were asked to be nurturing. We were taught to be gentlemen, stuff like that, right? Not really like masculine, like whoo, whoo, like that. Not masculine like that. It was more like gentleman, uh again, for a lack of better terms, it was more like feminine, I would say. So that would explain attraction to the opposite or the energetic reciprocal, right? Now, at the core, you could still be masculine because the book explains about 80%, I think, of men are still masculine at the core, right? And you will have those moments where you will discover that. But since we have both energies in us and there's a balanced one also, this is very helpful to know. Next line. This attraction is not only natural, but healthy. It is a sign of polarity. It is nothing to be ashamed of. Nature is polarity. I love this line. So I love, again, from the mentors, the best mentors I've been learning from, there's this term called universal principles. It doesn't matter what religion you believe in, it is just a law of nature or a law of the universe, right? So polarity is one of those laws or lessons that I am learning, and I believe it. It's true. And again, it's very helpful when understanding attraction. Next line. Any negative attitude you have about your attraction is a sign of fear. So I believe this, and I don't want to get too deep down the rabbit hole on that. But again, growing up with religion shoved down my throat, it was a lot of that, right? It was a lot of fear, a lot of shame, a lot of guilt. So there is a natural attraction. Now, someone might ask, well, Martin, how do you balance that then instead of just giving in, right, to your basic instincts? So this is the answer, the last part of this chapter. Acting on that desire and pursuing her is another matter entirely, dependent on whether such an action would truly serve both you or not. So this answer is the balancer. So acting on the desire is natural. Now acting on it is another matter entirely. Now, should you do it or not? Would I do it or not? It's dependent whether this action would truly serve both you and her, both you and the other person. Is it a win win? So that gave me so much more clarity. So let's move to the next chapter. Let's flow. This one's a little shorter. Choose a woman who is your complementary opposite. So we're talking about polarity, energetic opposites or reciprocals, right? So the line here is you are always attracted to your sexual reciprocal. So the term earlier was even better. It's your energetic reciprocal. If you have a masculine energy, you're attracted to to a feminine energy, right? Or balance to balance. Last line over here is women are simply free of the masculine need to live in a world governed by reason and control, uncontrolled and undirected by goals and structure. So I marked this down here as closing an open loop because growing up as a man or in this society and in my life, I have always been governed by reason and control. Have a goal, have structure. That is very natural. That is very like by design or just how I operate. So women are like the opposite, or the feminine is the opposite of that. So be guided by these lessons on polarity and then choosing your complementary opposite. Last thing before I close this is why choose your complementary opposite? This is just my own personal experience and lessons like from life. It's because that's how we will grow, right? It's not just the attraction. That's why it's complementary opposite. The other side will like make you grow, or it will answer your greatest deficiency. It will help you grow or address your weak side or your shadow side, your other side. So, short answer is it's not just opposite attracts, it's also because it will help you grow in a more complete way. So, let's go back, stop the sharing and this podcast. Sorry, guys, if we went above 10 minutes, but I just wanted to give you all the good stuff. So, thank you. I love you, and I will see you next time.